The MiG-29 Fulcrum is a fourth-generation fighter designed in the Soviet Union in the 70s, which entered service in 1983, and was adopted by many countries on all continents. The MiG-29 combined fourth-generation engineering with third-generation hardware. Its relatively low price attracted numerous sales, despite its short lifespan and outdated electronics. The MiG-29 began to be developed in 1974, with the aim of being a light and maneuverable multi-purpose fighter, with the idea of surpassing, together with its bigger brother, the Sukhoi Su-27 flanker, the American duo F-15 and F-16. The aerodynamic design for the new fighter jet was largely carried out by the Russian Aerodynamics Institute, in collaboration with the Sukhoi Design Bureau. From these studies, two projects were derived, a project for a heavy fighter, the flanker, and another project for a light fighter respectively, in parallel to the decision of the United States, which was manufacturing the heavy fighter, McDonnell Douglas F-15, and the Lockheed Martin light fighter single-engine F-16. The design of the Fulcrum impressed Western analysts. Western pilots who were able to fly it after the fall of the Berlin Wall were amazed by its maneuverability and the almost instantaneous response of its R-33 engines. The Fulcrum wing allows to generate large amounts of lift in a short time. It has a very low load that gives it exceptional maneuverability, and the extended wing roots allow to maintain high angles of attack and high control after losses. The separation of the engines not only improves the infrared signature and the survival in the event of impacts, but also causes a not lesser percentage of the total lift of the aircraft to be produced by the fuselage. The Fulcrum wing allows to generate large amounts of lift in a short time. It has a very low load that gives it exceptional maneuverability, and the extended wing roots allow to maintain high angles of attack and high control after losses. The separation of the engines not only improves the infrared signature and the survival in the event of impacts, but also causes a not lesser percentage of the total lift of the aircraft to be produced by the fuselage. The MiG-29 is powered by two Isotop R-33B jet engines, with 5,100 kilograms of thrust and 8,300 kilograms with post-combustion. They are robust motors that do not extinguish when they receive an irregular flow, and of excellent response. The NO-193 radar is comparable to the APG-63 of the F-15 and APG-65 of the F-18. It has a detection range of 80 kilometers and scanning and downward firing capabilities, which the F-16 lacks. Apart from radar, it also has an infrared tracking system, which detects the heat of an enemy fighter at a long distance, and which is associated with an undetectable laser tracking and acquisition system. All this avionics is associated with the firing system incorporated into the pilot's helmet, which allows him to aim and fire missiles with the only movement of the head. The landing gear is extremely robust, allowing it to operate from semi-prepared runways. At takeoff and landing, a unique new engine damper system was designed, which opens next to the cockpit at the base of the wings, to allow air to enter the engines from up and momentarily close the main inlet of twin-engine air nozzles, with large dampers, which lower to prevent stones and debris from entering the engines from below, without affecting the performance and power of the ship, just to takeoff and landing. The armament consists of a 30mm cannon on the port side, 6 R-23 Alamo air-to-air missiles, or R-60 Archer, on wing mounts, bombs, rockets and other charges. Contrary to the unstable design of Western fighters controlled by fly-by-wire systems, the MiG-29 bets on a more stable design, but optimized to be more maneuverable, with two large vertical stabilizers on the engines up to the main wings. They offer greater stability at high speed and altitude, and allow for sharp turns and extreme combat maneuvers. Although there is an analog computer on board the ship, which limits the high Gs and alphas of the fighter maneuvers, it can be deactivated, allowing the aircraft to be demanded beyond the established limits for combat maneuvers in their original design. The ailerons and actuators are powered by a traditional hydraulic system. The aircraft cabin, while offering much better visibility than the predecessor Soviet models, is not as good as its Western counterparts, and it is considered to have a higher workload because it maintains multiple analog instruments. Few prized aircraft have such an unfavorable combat record as the Fulcrum. This is largely due to the fact that it has been operated by less developed countries, facing better trained and organized opponents. Currently, the Russian Air Force is carrying out several programs on MiG-29 fighters that contemplate the modernization of avionics equipment to adapt to NATO standards, extending the service life of the aircraft to 4,000 flight hours or 40 years, improve combat capabilities and reliability, and safety improvements. In 2005, the MiG Corporation began the production of a new family of multi-purpose fourth-generation plus fighters based on the MiG-29K and the MiG-29M, under the name of MiG-35.